Hi, my name is Rachel McQuay, and this is my lesson plan over even and odd numbers. My overall learning goal for all students is students will independently determine whether a group of 20 objects has an odd or even number of members by labeling the group as even or odd. My specific IEP goal is, without the use of a reference anchor chart, Susie will independently determine whether a group of 20 objects has an odd or even number of members by labeling the group with 90% accuracy on 4 out of 5 consecutive trials as determined by a teacher-made assessment. My first objective is Susie will independently pair objects with 100% accuracy on 4 out of 5 consecutive trials. My second objective is with reference word examples, Susie will write the words even and odd when labeling numbers 0 through 10 with 90% accuracy on 4 out of 5 consecutive trials. To begin my lesson, I will involve the students in learning about even and odd numbers. First, I will write the words even and odd on the board. Then I will ask for 6 student volunteers. The students will then be prompted to get into pairs. I will acknowledge that each student had a partner that made a pair because the number 6 is even. I will do the same process with the numbers 2, 4, 8, and 10. I will place those even numbers in the even category on the board. I will then ask the students what they would think would happen if I only had 5 students. So 5 students will get up and demonstrate. I will say, isn't it odd that one person does not have a partner to make a pair? I will repeat this process for numbers 1, 3, 7, and 9, and place the odd numbers in the odd category. Next, I will introduce the idea that numbers who have pairs are even, and numbers who do not have pairs are odd. I will write these definitions on the smartboard for the students to use at a later time. I chose to use the pairing strategy as many of my students are not fluent skip counters by 2. And if they are, then they can choose to use the counting by 2 strategy, then they can. So there are 2 different ways that they can determine if a number is even or odd in this lesson. So the body of the lesson begins with me demonstrating this technique by writing the number 4 and then showing and drawing 4 objects on the smartboard. During this time, I will ask, what strategy do you think I should use to determine if the number 4 is even or odd? So a lot of the students will remember that I have been saying you can pair objects to see if that number is even or odd. So I will use the pairing strategy and keep using the term pairing strategy so my students know what to call what they're doing. So I will keep reinforcing the lesson that numbers are even if they have pairs, and I will model numbers 2, 6, 8, and 10, and 0 with this same strategy. Next, I will acknowledge how numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are odd because they do not have equal pairs because one object is left out as they seen when they were modeling this activity at the beginning. So I will introduce my anchor chart next, my even, Steven, and odd Todd anchor chart to really put it on paper what we have learned, and the students will go over this chart with me as I want them to remain involved in this lesson and active learners. Next, I'll have the students turn to their partner, their pair, and I will use that term there again. And this is already designated by where they sit based on their strengths and needs. And they will do a partner activity where they have to categorize numbers into even and odd. And the paraprofessional, I will assist them during this time because I also want them to discuss what strategy they are using to determine if the number is even and odd. I will give feedback during this time. If I see a pair struggling, I will kind of redirect them and get them back on track. Next, the students will get their math journals out and write their new math vocabulary, even and odd, in their math journals. and the paraprofessional will assist them in writing their definitions. Lastly, students will be given an index card with a mystery number on it, and I'm choosing to move on from 0 to 10 to 11 through 20. So they can kind of generalize the same strategy to the larger numbers. The students will then independently determine if their mystery numbers even or odd, and they can do this by drawing and pairing objects or getting classroom manipulatives and working with them on their desk. And they will write even or odd on the index card, and then they will get up and place their index card in the correct even or odd brown paper bag. The students will then tell their class their mystery number and say if it's even or odd. And then I want them to describe to their classmates how they know and how they figured out and what strategy they used to determine if their number was even or odd. To end the lesson, I will quickly go back over and demonstrate the pairing technique and vocabulary usage with the number 17, and the students will be given an exit slip over the even and odd concepts. So, the visuals that I'm going to use include these, and this is my summative assessment test, and it is large and broken into these specific sections because I have students who need their assessments chunked so that they do not become overwhelmed. And so I split it up onto 2 pages, and I gave them lines to write the numbers even or odd. I put even or odd at the top so they can refer back to those words and how to spell them. And I get provided workspace if they want to draw objects, or they can use the classroom manipulatives as well for their summative assessment. Here is the partner activity. They will cut out and put these numbers under even, Steven, or odd and with their partner. Here is the exit slip that I will be giving my students at the end of class. This will be quick. This will be a 2 to 3 minute activity. They will make pairs out of their soccer balls. They have 15, and they will circle if the number 15 is even or odd. And then the second part is 4 paper airplanes, and they can pair these, skip count, to figure out if it's even or odd, and they have to tell me if it's even or odd and how they know. So on this one, I'm really looking for, okay, can they tell me the strategy that they used in determining this? And then lastly, here is an example of the anchor chart I will be doing of even, Steven, and odd. Even, Steven, not everyone has a partner. Odd, not everyone has a partner. And then it shows an example of the pairing below. And I also like how it says look in the ones place to tell if it's even or odd, because this will help kind of start introducing and familiarizing my students with the next level of learning, which would be really going over place values and what place value is and used for. And so that's really a benefit of my lesson, is that it really bridges to that higher level of thinking and chains to the next level concept that will come after even and odd numbers, because my students really struggle with place value, and I just want to keep place value an ongoing theme in my classroom. And this lesson is also beneficial because it provides students with the opportunity to use varying strategies and know that they don't have to use standard algorithm in solving math problems. They can use whatever they feel comfortable with. And I will use the data from this lesson to determine if they are ready to move on to the next part of the standard, which is creating an equation that equals an even number. Once I know they know what even and odd numbers are, then they can start making their own equations that result in an even product. So I think that about wraps up my lesson. Thank you for watching.